Yeah, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Let's talk some track and field. Legendary American sprinter Michael Johnson is receiving criticism from some quarters in the track and field industry after statements he made in a recent interview with the BBC. That's the British Broadcasting Commission, by the way. The Grand Slam track founder had this to say: Grand Slam track is track. That is what we're doing. I'm going to save what I think I can save. I think I can save track. I don't think I can save track and field. I love this sport, but I have had time to reconcile the fact that if we continue to just do the same thing, tell people that you should love this or you should understand this, that doesn't work. Michael Johnson, no, the Olympic long jump champion, Tara Davis-Woodhull, the American, had this response to Johnson's comments.
About my sport, it doesn't need saving at all. It's actually, Michael, you're ruining the sport if you're trying to save just track. It's track and field for a reason. The field events actually do have a lot of impact to the sport. Hi, if you can't tell. And yeah, we don't need your saving. You can, you're long gone, your time has passed. If you wanted to change the sport, you should have changed a long time ago. Instead, you were skipping out of the sport.
Tara Davis-Woodhull, the Olympic long jump champion. It's a good day for Leighton Levy to be with me. Leighton, what do you make of this all?
Look, at the launch of the Jamaican League, I asked a question of Johnson himself, where I said, with the focus on track with meets like Grand Slam track and of course the Astos meet in New York, the all-women meet, does this potentially sideline field events? Especially in the context of what we saw at the Olympic Games, where the javelin was extremely exciting, the discus similarly so, the long jump for both men and women, and the triple jump for men. All of these field events had a lot of energy around them. He said in response that, you know, Ryan Krauser is starting a league, a throws league. But throws is only one part of the field events. You know, and he said he would do everything to support. What Tara Woodhull just said is quite instructive, because I've spoken to a number of people in the last few weeks, some of them former athletes, and they're not necessarily sold on the idea that track alone can save track and field, because there are millions of people out there who are interested in field events as well.
But if track and field needs saving, why would you want to save only track and not field?
As one former athlete said to me just yesterday, you can't reinvent the wheel without all the spokes. So, you know, I think we understand what he's trying to do. And I think to a certain degree, it could work. We'll have to see what unfolds once things get underway next April. But what about those fans? Aren't you excluding the fans of the sport? Whether you're a purist or not, aren't you excluding those people who love to see a Taylor Font, for example, you know, from Dominica in the triple jump? Of course, Rojas is back this year, hopefully. Who are excited by them are the people who are seeing Chopra and Rest from India throw that javelin 90 meters down the field. You know, what are those people going to do in terms of their engagement with this sport?
Yeah, so when I listen to Michael Johnson, right, one of the things he said is that while I don't think I can save field now, track and field, I can save track, but he did admit that maybe in the future, if this takes off in the way that he expects it to, that they would look at the field aspect. So he didn't completely dismiss the possibility that field events could at some point be part of Grand Slam track. But let me ask you this question. Do you think it is a little hypocritical on the part of Grand Slam track that you would start this league almost against the background that World Athletics is not doing enough for the sport, that more can be done for the sport? But then you start a league that excludes half
of the sport
of what World Athletics caters to.
Which is one of the reasons why I asked him the question I did at the press conference. Because, look, I understand that purists like you and I, we engage with all of the sports. The field events are just as important as the track events to us. But for the casual fan, maybe that's not the case. But it does not mean that the casual fan is only interested in track, right? Because I know a lot of people who are no fans of track and field whatsoever, but they're like, my son, for example, is a big Shanika Ricketts fan, right? He doesn't engage the track and field any at all. But he likes to see what she does on the field. I remember I had to introduce him to her at the, I think it was Racers Grand Prix when he was in the stadium. He was bored most of the time watching the track events, but he liked what he saw with the triple jump. So aren't you running the risk of excluding those fans who are potentially engaging with the field events? Because not everybody's going to be a fan of the 100 or 200 or the hurdles or whatever it is. There are those people who like to see people throw things far or do things like Ryan Croswell does that throw that heavy ball, 20 meters down the field.
What about Michael's point that he can't do everything right now?
I think he believes that in saving track, you can save the running events first and then go and save the field events first. But in saving the running events first, maybe by that time the field events are dead because nobody's seen them. So while he might be thinking in the context of, let's just, it's like you have a patient, for example, and they have congestive heart failure and they have a lung issue. If you save the heart and the lungs are dead, you're dead anyway. So while he might be trying to save track by saving the parts of it that he thinks are more popular, he's actually potentially killing half of it, the other half of it. And that's the issue that I've had. Look, I'm not saying that what he's doing is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that maybe the approach is not the right approach to do it. Because, and Sebastian Coe is doing a similar thing where you get the feeling that he's sidelining the field events because there's a perception that not that many people are into the field events as to the running events.
Which is not true, is it?
Which is not true
because part of the issue with the field events is that people don't see it enough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that they're not interested. They don't get the opportunity to follow it in the same way they do.
When the triple jumpers line up, whether male or female, there's a massive set of people lined up right above them because that's where they want to be. It's not because they think, okay, let's go down to the 100-meter finish line. It's because they're interested in the triple jump. And they're interested in the long jump. And
there are many times when I go to a track meet and I go and I sit by the long jump area because that is what I want to see.
So maybe the whole dynamic is how they're set up to cover the events as opposed to what obtains now where there's so much focus on the track events and then the field events are across the field. Maybe they need to have cameras there as well and then probably schedule them in a slot where you can focus on those events as opposed to just leaving them to be almost incidentals in terms of a meet.
Spot on, Leighton Davey. I think maybe that might have been the better approach. Include a field event or two and schedule them in such a way that they have the focus of the entire stadium when it happens. And then you'll know. Maybe it's a shortened version. Maybe instead of 6 rounds, it's just 3 rounds. Maybe it's just 6 athletes per competition day, whatever the case might be. But it's a thought. But we have to end on that thought for this segment. Interactive to come. We'll have the nominations for the SportsMax Class Moment, and Leighton and I will decide the winner for this week.